Have public statements and tweets made about the department, about our people in the department, our men and women here, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases, make it impossible for me to do my job and to assure the courts and the prosecutors in the department that we're doing our work with integrity.
Mr. Barr, the president does not like to be told what to do. He may not like what you're saying. Are you prepared for those ramifications?
Of course. As I said during my confirmation, I came in to serve as Attorney General. I am responsible for everything that happens in the department, but the thing I have most responsibility for are the issues that are brought to me for decision. And I will make those decisions based on what I think is the right thing to do, and I'm not going to be bullied or influenced by anybody. And I said at the time, whether it's Congress, newspaper, editorial boards, or the president, I'm going to do what I think is right. And I think I cannot do my job here at the department with a constant background commentary that undercuts me.
Now, at the risk of people thinking that Bill Barr is being defiant here, he's not. This is pure political theater. What he's actually trying to accomplish with this interview by saying that it's, quote, impossible to do my job with background commentary that undercuts me is not a criticism of the president, it's a message for him. It's just the Attorney General saying, stop tweeting, Donald, I'll be your lapdog, just don't make it so obvious. Barr's only gripe here is that Trump's glaring lack of subtlety makes it harder for him to have any plausible deniability. So no, Bill Barr is not some independent voice of reason. He's not a neutral arbiter of justice. He's not being driven by some moral compass, and he's never acted in the best interest of the law. He's only ever acted on Trump's behalf. Because here's the thing, you don't get to say you're against arson if you continue to burn houses down every day. And this was put on full display only days ago. Bill Barr's DOJ made a sentencing recommendation for Trump's former advisor, Roger Stone, of 7 to 9 years. And then that night, Trump tweeted, "This is a horrible and very unfair situation. The real crimes here were on the other side, as nothing happens to them. Cannot allow this miscarriage of justice." And the very next morning, the DOJ, led by Bill Barr, suddenly revised their sentencing recommendation to 3 to 4 years, effectively halving their previous request. And in case Barr would have you think that this was totally unrelated to Trump's tweet only hours earlier, consider the fact that all 4 prosecutors working on the case immediately quit, with one assistant U.S. attorney even leaving the government altogether. And here's where Trump being as subtle as a volcano erupting caused a headache for Barr. Trump then took to Twitter writing, "All starting to unravel with the ridiculous 9-year sentence recommendation." He then retweeted a tweet calling the sentence recommendation extreme, excessive, and grossly disproportionate. He attacked the judge presiding over the case, linking her to Hillary Clinton. He claimed that a, quote, swamp creature with pull was just sentenced to 2 months for a similar thing that they want Stone to serve 9 years for. He called the 4 prosecutors on the case part of the 13 angry Democrats. He called the prosecutors rogue prosecutors who were part of the swamp. And then, the kicker, he congratulated Bill Barr for, quote, taking charge of a case that was totally out of control and perhaps should not have ever been brought. So no, this interview with Barr was nothing more than him telling Trump to make his life easier by not being so obvious. Because let's just be clear here, Barr has and always will serve as a henchman for Trump. He did it with his little press conference that grossly misconstrued what the Mueller report said, with a summary stating the literal opposite of Robert Mueller's findings. He did it when he lied about the findings of the Inspector General report, saying, quote, "The Inspector General's report now makes clear that the FBI launched an intrusive investigation of a U.S. presidential campaign on the thinnest of suspicions that, in my view, were insufficient to justify the steps taken," when in reality, it was once again the literal opposite, in that the Inspector General's report, quote, found no documentary or testimonial evidence that political bias or improper motivations influenced the FBI's investigation. He did it when he traveled to Italy to try and gather information to undermine the Mueller investigation, completed under the jurisdiction of his own department, all because the results of the probe made Trump look bad. And he did it when, just days ago, he announced that he'll open a direct channel to people like Rudy Giuliani, who just so happen to be out in places like Ukraine gathering dirt on Trump's political opponents, which, if you remember, was the exact reason that Trump was impeached only weeks earlier.
Senator Graham says that Rudy Giuliani will be providing the department information related to Ukraine and the Bidens. What is the process for receiving this information? Who will evaluate it, and is this something that you feel the need to recuse yourself from?
Well, as I've previously said, the DOJ has the obligation to have an open door to anybody who wishes to provide us information that they think is relevant. We had established an intake process in the field so that any information coming in about Ukraine could be carefully scrutinized by the department and its intelligence community partners so that we could assess its provenance and its credibility. And, that is true for all information that comes to the department relating to the Ukraine, including anything Mr. Giuliani might provide.
In other words, if Trump would just shut up, then Bill Barr can continue working on his behalf, can continue misleading the American people and propagating Trump's lies, and continue allocating department resources to investigations that serve no purpose but to nurse Trump's fragile ego. So don't let any shameless stunts on cable news distract you, because Barr has never worked on behalf of the American people or his department. He has only worked to serve Donald Trump.